Hey, Mark Meldrum, Meldrum Sponsor Garage, and as we always say in Meldrum Sponsor Garage, hey, I'm just an idiot out here working in my own garage. What I do, what you do, hey, it's up to you. I try to give you some tips here and there, and try to be a little entertaining back and forth on what I'm working on. We've got our 72 Chevelle 454 LS5 motor that's going to make its way back into the convertible eventually. Wanted to refresh the gaskets on here. So what we've got right now at this point is I did take the intake manifold over to atom blasting. The paint was just way too thick on there for me to scrub off, and too many nicks and crannies. So took it over to atom blasting. They blasted it. I brought it back home and really flushed it out really good with soap and water. And unfortunately, that led to a quick flash rust on this cast intake manifold. So I wanted to get it on the engine as quickly as possible. So I've got it basically bolted on here right now. It is not torqued down. So I'll tell you a couple hints. If you just want to drive these in real quick, just don't impact them much, but drive them in. These are wonderful tools, but don't sit there and da-da-da-da-da-da to put it to the torque, because that ain't gonna work. All right, you're gonna want to get a nice torque wrench out, and I have a beautiful digital snap-on torque wrench that we will torque down the bolts here. And just to comment about bolts, all these guys are like, oh God, you got to use original bolts, and they pay oodles and oodles of money for these original bolts just to look, absolutely perfect for the restoration. That's okay, I guess. I'm a mechanical engineer. I know when you torque these bolts down, they tend to stretch, especially on these newer motors. You don't want to use some of these bolts twice. So I went ahead and ordered myself a nice new set of AMK bolts, and AMK is a great place to source your restoration bolts. I mean, the head marks on these and the way they look are very, very similar to the original bolts. I was comparing them. Maybe I'll take a side-by-side shot, but anyway, that's my opinion on that. Another thing, they got these, they do have these nice little tabs here for doing the valve covers. Okay, these are even got the TR mark on it. Now, on these tabs, remember, there's an upside down and a right side up to these things. If you look at them really close, you'll see that they have a little bevel to them. And when you tighten this center up, you want it to push out on the tips here. So the way they stamp these, I think they actually stamp these things out. They actually have a little bevel out here. So if you look real close, you'll see that there's a flat side, and then the top part is it's kind of a little bit shinier, and you'll be able to notice it right away. I don't know if you can notice it in the camera here, but you'll notice it, and you want to get those correctly put on to your valve covers so you don't have any problems with leaking. All right. I know I've already got these valve covers on. I'm using original style cork valve covers. I didn't go to the extent to paint the top silver. That's something some of the guys do, is they paint the top silver. I didn't do it this time. You're going to want to have an awl, Larry's favorite tool. Uncle Larry loves these awls because they help line things up, and you're going to want to stick it down in the hole, line it up. And then another little suggestion I have is I'm going to start these by hand, and you want to take a little tape. Boy, I look terrible tonight. Didn't shave, don't have my hat on, don't have my glasses on. Worked all day on the Impala. But take a little tape, shove it down in there, and That way you'll have a little pressure to push onto the head of this bolt when you tighten it up. And you know, I suggest you tighten these things up. I think you can torque them down to, I forget what the torque is on these things, but just some suggestions there on the valve cover bolts. All right, now getting back to the intake manifold, it's 9/16 all the way around. Take note that you've got a stud here, which is 1, 2, 3 up from the back on the passenger side. Over here on the front part of the motor, you've got a stud here sticking out. That's right on the edge on the passenger side also. Also, when you put the valve covers on, since you can reverse these, they're kind of, I don't know, maybe you can. But don't forget, you've got this little breather that goes into the air cleaner. And then you got, on 72 model, you got a little plastic cap over here. And then you got a breather over here also. All right, so we're gonna set this to 35 foot-pounds. It's a steel manifold. On aluminum manifolds, you're at 25 foot-pounds. Follow your torque sequence correctly. You're gonna start on the inside, work your way out. I'm not gonna go over every minutia on this thing. Look it up on the internet. Google is wonderful. I even had to look it up tonight because I didn't remember where you started and how you worked your way out. The steel, forged steel ones are cast steel, is a lot more forgiving than the aluminum intake manifold. So that's why there's differences in torque. So let me pause the camera real quick. Let me find my socket and I'll show you how this works. All right. So once again, I've got my torque set to 35 foot-pounds. I love these snap-on wrenches. Like I say, you're gonna start in the middle, and I'm not gonna go through a couple different sequences on this. I've basically got them, you know, kind of tight on there. But I don't know if you can see this, but it's turning yellow, and as you torque, and come back a little bit. Torque, and you can see the yellow's getting bigger, and it's going to beep at me when it hits 35 foot-pounds. So there, I hit 35 foot-pounds. And I'm going to go over to the other side, and I don't know, maybe you can see the lights better on this. Okay, let me see if you can see the lights, see the yellow lights there? Got a couple of yellow lights. They're going up a little more. And we're gonna torque. There, stop right there. And it actually turns green here. So yeah, there's spring ones out there. I've got those too. They work just fine. But boy, this is good. You don't even have to look at it. You can just listen to when it hits the torque. So really cool. Once again, I'm just an idiot working in my garage. This is how I'm doing it. I'm sure there's different ways to do it. And do your research, get it right. You know, this is your engine. This is how you want to do it. All right, Mark Meldrum, Meldrum's Monster Garage. I got a few pictures of things we did today. We got over to Donna's. We took the hood off of her 65 so we could go to the painter. Quick snippet on that. And we had to pull the steering column out of the 59 Impala because the gear shift lever is all jammed up, and I think we're in for a total rebuild on that, which is a shame because you guys saw me put a brand new steering wheel on there. It looks beautiful and blah, blah, blah. Anyway. All right. Once again, I'm trying to get a little content out to you this week because the Guardians are out in Texas. They won 7-0 last night. They'll be home Friday night. And then all weekend I'll be working. I'm going to miss the Chevelle Club picnic. So you guys have a good time out there at the Chevelle Club picnic. I'll be down at the Guardians game watching baseball for free. Well, actually, they pay me. All right, see ya. All right, here we are back at Donna's. Got Wayne. There he is. Say hello, Wayne.
Hello.
I guess we got some issues with the hood here on Donna's car. There's some poopies. If you can see one right here, they're like little spider webs popping up.
One underneath my finger here.
Yeah.
Big bubble right there.
Yeah. So Wayne and I are going to take this off. And then the boss just came in. Say hello, boss.
Hi.
What are we going to do with your hood?
We're going to get it fixed so all the bubbles go away.
Yeah. So we're going to take it off and
hopefully
get it over to the painter. So the painter doesn't have to come here.
That's right.
All right. Here we go. All right. So now we're on the timing cover. And just a couple notes here. You know, you're going to put some... I went and used this black Permastex seal. And I went ahead and put it on the timing cover side, and then I put the seal on there and let it set up. The reason I do that is if I ever got to pull this timing cover off, the gasket material should stick to this piece and not the block to where I got to scrape it off. Who knows? That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Like I say, I'm just an idiot working out in the garage. You do what you want. Once again, using these EMK bolts, another nice thing about using brand new fresh bolts is you don't have to go around and clean these bolts up to get them ready for paint. These are all set for paint, you know, brand new, correct style bolts to go on there. And once again, I'm using AMK, and AMK just started using some new bags here. And I'm kind of thrilled about this, because working on Mike's 70 Chevelle with the AMK bolts, they had pink and red and all these different color codes and whatnot. But the problem is, after a while, the lettering would actually wear off. And maybe they listened to their customers and took that to heed. And now we actually have a, not a barcode, but a QR code on there, which is really cool because I can click on that QR code and it takes me right to their web page if I need to buy something else. And that's really cool. And it lists out what it's for. So, like I say, I'm a big AMK fan. Another thing, you know, these are 5-6 foot-pounds. So once again, we're going to tighten this up, and maybe you can see the light better here. But tighten, tighten, tighten. You see the light turning, and once we hit 7 pounds, we're good to go. So as with the intake manifold, I didn't really talk about that. I went around 3 or 4 times just to make sure we were at 35 foot-pounds. Some people, you know, once again, tell you to sneak up on that value. But I find that if you torque it down to 35 foot-pounds right off the bat on these casts, it's going to relax a little bit anyway. So you're going to actually, probably your first round around there, you're going to be more like 25 foot-pounds. By the time you go around about 3 times, then you're at your 35 foot-pounds. And same with this. Look up your torque sequence so you know which way to go. You know, on this, you probably can go some type of crisscross pattern so you're tightening evenly down. There's a couple pins down here. So I noticed when you're torquing down the first time on this, it's also drawing it past the pins. So you might get a false reading right off the bat there. So anyway, we're set with this. Next thing we're going to do is we're gonna flip this motor off and do the oil pan. All right, you might hear the Indians game or the Guardians game going on in the background. I've got it on the TV. Now you're probably saying to yourself, "Oh my God, Mark, what in the world is that big blue thing you got on there? That's not original. How can you put that on your car? It's not original. Oh my God." Well, let me tell you. You know how a big block is always leaking oil? Well, this one piece seal makes sure that you don't leak oil. I'm telling you, I've used these on several big blocks and small blocks lately, and I don't care if it isn't original. These things really work. They're made by FEL-PRO, and I'm telling you, I love them. You know, and you're going to see these little notches coming up here, and this is how you get the gasket in place. Of course, you got some little nipples that are going to go through the timing cover. So you got to make sure those go in the right place. You're going to put a little RTV in the corners where you meet the where the timing cover meets the engine and this gasket and the oil pan, and back in the corners on the rear main seal too. So once again, I've got these little pins in here. I wasn't really sure how these things worked before, but now this is about the 4th or 5th one I've done. I think I got this figured out. Basically, it's to align your gasket up correctly, and you actually put them on first before you put the oil pan on. So anyway, you'll notice this is an LS5 motor. It's got a 2-bolt main. There's a guy out there that says he's got a 4-bolt main on an LS5 in his 72 Chevelle convertible. I'm sorry, I don't believe you. I've never seen pictures of your engine apart, and I don't believe you, and I don't believe if it is, it's not the original block. The LS5s came with a 2-bolt, and that meant there's a bolt here and a bolt here to hold down the main caps. The LS6s had the 4-bolt main, which there's 1, 2, 3, 4 across each cap. Okay, I'm done crying and pissing and moaning about other people's projects. But okay, let's try to set this down on here. I'm gonna slide it on. I know you can't see that going over. Gotta make sure you get over your oil pump. What a pain in the There we go. And once again, you're gonna come down here, and I know this is sitting on something else here. There we go. Now it's coming down, and you can see the pins right here helped it guide it down, and then you push it down just a little bit more, and they kind of snap out and pull it down a little more. So that's kind of cool. I like that as far as installing that goes. I'm going to go ahead and get my AMK bolt kit out again and put these bolts in, and we'll be back in a second. All right, once you got these snugged up, you can go ahead and remove these little plastic tabs, and then go ahead and replace them with the normal bolt. So there you go. That's how you do that. And we'll go ahead and torque this down to the right sequence. I won't bore you with that. A little close up of what these look like. So these are the plastic tabs. Put them in first. After you get the gasket laid down. And here was the little, tab I was telling you about. You push down the oil pan, and it kind of clicks past that, and it gets it really close to being in the right place all the way around. So very cool. Good idea, FEL-PRO.